Another day in the Atlantic, tropical Atlantic brings us another day of tracking many systems. Once again, it is still September, still the peak of hurricane season. Although no storms are active right now, we have quite a bit of areas that do have those chances of developing, and we're going to be taking a look at that this evening. We're going to be taking first a look at 90XL located right here. You can see this clear area of rotation over to the west or to the east of the United States of America. And you can see this pretty prevalent rotation area where you have a strong rotation right here with convection being displaced to the east, and that is due to still some shear occurring, but it is currently on that Gulf Stream that goes on the side of the east coast. It is helping the storm blow up some convection, and you can see it now getting better organized and starting to look like a tropical system. We still have the remnants of Nicholas right here prevailing, still a clear rotation. It has lost its tropical characteristics, but you can see that storm here with many showers passing through the area, spreading into Florida and northward into the northern or central Louisiana and Kentucky. So we still have that area of rotation, which is continuing to bring rain, moisture, things like that to the southern Gulf Coast. We are also looking at 95L, which is this tropical wave right here, tropical wave axis. It has gotten a little bit better organized, and it is expected to continue moving generally westward before taking a sharp turn to the north, potentially impacting the Lesser Antilles. We'll have to see how that goes and how quick it is able to develop. Right now, chances about 70% for that to develop. Lastly, we're tracking this last area. You can see this area of rotation associated with disorganized showers. That's moving off the coast of Africa. It's going to be moving generally to the northwest with this system. We'll have to see if we again see any development from this. At this point, around 20%, but it has gotten a lot better organized in the last few hours, where you really have to start seeing this area of rotation. So chances could start to increase a little bit as we go on. We also have this tropical wave here emerging off the coast, as well as some moisture in the Caribbean to watch out for potential development. We'll have to watch that closely. We're going to start off with a close-up view of 96L, and that's our storm off to the east coast. Here you have the east coast right here in New Jersey, Kentucky, or not the Kentucky, New Jersey, Connecticut area. And looking at the satellite image, we have a strong southerly, or not southerly, strong westerly flow, going strong southerly flow right here, very strong northerly flow. And we can assume here that somewhere inside of this we have some flow going this way here. So what we now have is a clear rotation, still a little bit broad, a little bit elongated on this model. You can see that it remains a little bit elongated, a little bit like this. But when we look at this, it does seem like we are getting here this area just right here, which is rotating quicker, rotating really in a circle inside of this more elongated area of rotation and cloud cover. Now it is pulling a lot again. It's really here. You have big inflow around here, big outflow here, wrapping around inside the storm. And with that, we've been able to get some moisture and convection blowing up, mostly to the east, where you've had this big blow up of convection with the center being right around here. So you're getting that convection blowing up to the east. You can clearly see it's being sheared with every time this blows up. You can see the clouds quickly racing to the northeast, and that is an indication of continuing shear with this storm. But either way, we have those tropical characteristics starting to come up with a low pressure center, rotation, and lots of convection to the northeast. With that in mind, it is important to know that as of our update a couple minutes ago, we now the models now have this as a tropical storm, and there's a high chance that this could become a tropical storm at the 5 p.m. update. Uh, Pretty likely or a potential tropical cyclone. And so as this video comes out, we could see this being a tropical storm. And at this point, the Lasty News Weather Centers does has this at a 100% chance of developing, likely being a tropical storm. Models do gradually strengthen it for the next 72 hours. And if we bring that to a track that is gradual strengthening all the way up until passing the Canada area, so likely to become a little bit stronger in the next 24 hours before reaching those colder waters, becoming post-tropical and starting to fall apart and weaken. As we look at 95L now, you can see that the storm is a little pretty disorganized, much more disorganized than our other storm. But again, we have to look at our rotation and we can notice a couple things. We have strong westerly winds going up there. You can see those westerlies. We have rotation curving back to the north here. We have what seems to be a flow going to the south here. Again, we have those westerlies curving up. And so from that, we can say that we have a rotation. And that is what we usually do. We look at the winds and then we infer from this. So as we look at the arrows I just made, we infer that we do have somewhat of a rotation with this, likely in this general area being a closed low level center, potentially more of a closed center. Again, you can see there, you tend to see maybe a little bit more rotation. Hard to see any winds going to the south here. Hard to see any real winds here going to the north around here. So we are inferring that in fact we have this curvature here. We have those winds going westward here, winds going up like this here. So we can infer that maybe inside of here we have a closed rotation. And at this point, it does seem that it would be right around here where we have a very small closed area of circulation. And again, we are now getting some convection blowing up after a long period of basically no convection. And now we're getting those convective bursts as well as this area of rotation. Again, storm is a little bit sheared still. And so there's a chance that we do see some development of this system as it tries to move a little bit more to the northwest here in the next couple of days into potentially some better conditions. Again, tracks for the system do bring it west northward here over the next 24 to 72 hours instead of continuing westward. So it is likely that the storm does miss the Leeward Islands and very likely we see a landfall. It's not out of the question yet whether it heads westwards into potentially the Bahamas, Dominican Republic area. Based on the model trends, it's becoming much more likely that it just curves to the north with this high ridge here that's going to be picking it up. We will have another ridge up here, so it's unlikely that we see the storm kind of connect with this and kind of bring it westward. And so that's why those models now are showing this making a sharp turn to the north, potentially affecting Bermuda and potentially just going northward and not affecting anywhere similar to Larry. Either way, we're likely to see some development over the next 24 to 36 hours, potentially becoming a tropical storm by the time it reaches north of those lower Antilles. Intensity guidance, most if not every model shows it again being a tropical storm in the next 36 to 48 hours, and then maintaining just about intensity as a weak tropical storm, or at least 50 to 60 mile per hour as it's moved through the open Atlantic. Now we're going to take a quick look at our models for the system and potentially future storms to come after this. And so here we go. This is that area that we are showing here off the coast of Africa, and that does develop a little bit on the GFS model before taking this really sharp turn to the north. Surprisingly, and we do see the possibility of some development with that. Here's 95L moving closer to Bermuda on this run and pretty much dissipating as it does so. And that's pretty much the only thing we see on this new model run. And then we do end up seeing a couple waves that do try to develop later on in the timeline. None of them become anything major, but definitely something we'll have to track, as well as a storm potentially in the Eastern Pacific, trying to get their act together here. We do also see that it does get 96L quite a bit more organized here as it moves near Atlantic Canada, so that'll be something we have to watch closely. By the end of the day, we're likely again seeing these become a tropical storm. We'll have to watch the Larry closely, whether it does form and how soon it curves to the north. At this point, likely doing a track similar to this. or at least like this potentially. So that's what we're looking at. Other system likely going like this and dissipating, moving northward. And before I end this video, here's our current graphics by the National Hurricane Center showing all of these systems.